Did you call bank? I called game.
What's up, Pack Nation? It is Pack Gaming here, and today we are doing a what if video where I pick some players, put them in a simulation, and see if they can win an NBA championship. In this video, I'm going to talk about all the players that have played not only basketball, but also another sport in their careers. There's some guidelines, okay? Playing in high school doesn't count. You have to be good enough to make it into a professional league. So somehow it needs to be proven that you could be that good. So LeBron James is not on this list. Allen Iverson is not on this list because they played football and were really good at it in high school, but they never even got drafted into the NFL or anything like that. However, Nate Robinson played college football, but he's not even in 2K, so I can't even have him on this list, apparently. So that's how it's going to go. And we're going to pick the Sacramento Kings. The reason I'm picking the Kings is because they're the only team in the NBA that have the same name as another professional team, and that is the Los Angeles Kings, who play hockey. I'm creative. We're going to start from the worst player rating-wise to the best player on this list. So we're going to start... Well, first, ignore all these fake players like Robert Williams, William Jones, all that. They don't count. They don't exist. But the first player on this list is Chris Humphries. Now, this is the only one on this list I'm kind of cheating on because we don't really know if he would have been good as a swimmer today, but he was apparently 100% set on being a swimmer in the future. He was apparently beating, when he was a kid, Michael Phelps in swimming races, but ended up deciding playing in the NBA. He maybe should have stuck with swimming if he was apparently as good as Michael Phelps, but we'll never know. He even holds records today for kids swimming categories. Up next, it is Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward was not only drafted into amateur baseball, he won the Heisman in college, the Heisman Trophy, and never got drafted in the NFL for really weird reasons. But he had the possibility to play in the MLB, the NFL, and the NBA. I think he's the only athlete in the world or history that had the opportunity to play in all three major league sports. That's crazy to think about. The next is James Johnson, a 78 overall. He plays for the Heat. And you don't want to pick a fight with James Johnson. He is 20-0 in kickboxing, and he's 7-0 in the MMA. This man could kill you in a fight straight up. James Johnson. Don't ever pick a fight with him. Up next is Danny Ainge, who played for the Toronto Jayhawks baseball. He played 3 seasons for them and hit 2 home runs. He also did a lot of other stats that I couldn't tell you about because I don't know about baseball. I'm not gonna lie to you. My fault. Speaking of baseball, Dave DeBusschere, or DeBusschere. Probably DeBusschere. He played 2 seasons with the Chicago White Sox, and he was actually a very good pitcher who got a no-hitter once. That's pretty hard to do. Up next is John Havlicek. Havlicek stole the ball, that guy, yeah. He was drafted by the Cleveland Browns the same year he was drafted by the Boston Celtics, and he decided to play in the NFL. He did some exhibition games, and then they were like, maybe you aren't cut out for this, and so he played for the NBA instead. So, he was apparently almost good enough to play in the NFL. Up next is the greatest power forward of all time. I didn't stutter. Tim Duncan. He could have been, no, correction. He was on his way to be an Olympic swimmer in the 1992 Olympics. However, the only Olympic pool in where he lived in the Virgin Islands was destroyed, so he was not able to train anymore, and that dream had died. So he ended up playing in the NBA, and he was whatever at it. Up next, it is Wilt Chamberlain. So not only was Wilt Chamberlain one of the greatest NBA players ever, he was arguably one of the greatest volleyball players of all time. And I'm talking about professional volleyball. He was an MVP and an all-star in volleyball. And finally, the really famous one, Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time for most people. He played for the Birmingham Barons, which was a minor league baseball team, and ended his career with 3 home runs before coming back to the NBA. So this is the squad, the dream team, the team that can play different sports. But can they win an NBA championship together? Let's find out. We're going to simulate all the way through the regular season, and then we'll simulate the playoffs. Let's start. So now we are back and the season has ended, and guess who is the most valuable player? Of course, you could have guessed it, Michael Jordan. 26.7 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 6th man of the year. Apparently he was 6th man. Tim Duncan, Timmy D, with only 14 a game, 8 rebounds, but he was probably playing bench numbers. And then our coach, David Yorger, 75-7, making us the greatest team in NBA history, apparently. For our team, our greatest scorer was, as mentioned before, it was Michael Jordan with 26, and then John Havlicek with 24, then Wilt Chamberlain with 19, and then Dave DeBusschere, then Tim Duncan, then Charlie Ward, James Johnson, Danny Ainge, Chris Humphries was the worst. And then our best rebounder was, of course, Wilt Chamberlain. Of course, he had the most blocks as well. Most steals was Michael Jordan, and most assists was Charlie Ward. We have Michael Jordan winning MVP and Tim Duncan as our sixth man. But can we finish it off? Can we win the championship? I think we can, but let's go and find out. We're going to simulate the current round. Playing against the Utah Jazz, we lost the game, but we end up beating them in a gentleman's sweep. But now we have to play the Oklahoma City Thunder. Can we beat them with Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony? Well, if the Jazz can do it and we beat the Jazz, well, that means we can beat OKC and straight up sweep them. But this is the team that we lost a couple games to, the Warriors. We lost to the Rockets and the Warriors a couple times. Can the Warriors beat us? Let's find out. That was a quick simulation. 4-1, we gentlemen sweep them, but now it's time. The final matchup. LeBron James versus Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals. Who will win? Probably going to be us, but let's find out. Simulate. We'll simulate the game, right? We're up 1. We're up 2. We're up 3, and let's end it. We won the championship. The Sacramento Kings, the team with all these players that can play all these different sports, would win a championship today. Confirmed. We are the champions. Of course, Finals MVP is not Michael Jordan. It's actually John Havlicek. I'm pretty surprised there. 31 points per game. He wasn't playing. So that is it for this video. What do you guys think? Did I miss anyone? Do you think this team would easily win a championship in today's game? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like my channel, please give it a sub, and I'll see you guys next time.
Did you call back?